Okay, so I have found my footage and I've already recorded it. Remember, you guys can use the snipping tool. I'm using Snagit. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my footage. So let's see here. I'm going to say File and Open. And let's see here. Downloads. Here's my MP4. So if you want to do the video version, you can do like so, and then I have a video layer, okay? The other way to do it that I think is preferred with the frame to frames is I'm gonna say File. Let's see, I'm sorry. Ooh, I forget. Okay, it's import. There we go. Import, file import, video frames to layers. Okay, video frames to layers. So this is, for me, the preferred method, video frames to layers. So I'm gonna go ahead and find my footage right here. Okay, and you've just captured that with your snipping tool. All right, so here's where you could, by the way, selected range if you want to just go ahead and drag this along, right? If you want to trim, if you don't want, like I don't want some of the beginning there. Maybe I just want to start right here. I don't know, okay? So you can go ahead and trim it. And then you can also say limit to, and you can chop down the number of frames if you want. Okay, so if you want to cut down the number of frames, you can also click this here, right? And then that will reduce the number of frames. So limit to every 2 frames, sure. Okay, I'm gonna say okay. Cancel. Let me just limit this to every 4 frames. I think you know what, my clip is way too long. Let me just cut down this clip. I have a really long clip. Okay, there we go. All right, it's gonna do its thing. And as you can see here, it has created, I can go ahead and go back here and you can see that I can see this. This is, again, reduced frames, but that's fine, right? And it's just imported that little selection that I have. All right, so how do I start rotoscoping this? Okay, one, I want to make sure that this is actually high res before I get too far. So I'm going to say image size, okay? And I'm going to resample this. I want it to be pixels, 1920 by 1080. Is that like, that's high res, right? And I'm going to say okay. Because I don't want to work on this when it's really low res, just in case you've like, I don't know. Just make sure that it's not too low res before you do a lot of work. And you can upsize it now. If you've already started and you haven't done that, you can upsize it now. Image size. Okay, I just want to make sure it's high res enough. This is just taking a moment. It's a lot of large document already. Okay. All right. And now I'm also going to just go ahead and save this, right? File, save as. Go ahead and put it in your Google Drive, in your animation folder, just so that way. Okay, so this is Rotoscope, Dreon demo. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save it. That way you wanna save your work frequently as you're working on this. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop to my first layer. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off, and I will turn on my first layer. Okay, and then I'm actually gonna turn this down because it's pretty hard to see what's happening. And okay, let's say I already know I want like a solid color in the background of my animation. I want some like blue, sure. All right, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna turn this down because I wanna trace on top of it, but I don't need to see the whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna make now a new layer. All right, and then I can grab my tablet. You can draw with a mouse, but I feel like that's really challenging, so why? So go ahead and grab a tablet. Let me just plug my tablet in here. And I'm running out of USB ports on my laptop. Let me see here. All right, so I'm plugging that in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab a cool brush. I don't wanna, you can use whatever brushes you want, you know, but I'm gonna get some sort of neat brush. So, let me grab my, so here to my B brush, B as brush. Okay. All right, and you can do whatever you want. I'm going to go get maybe this dry media brush. Sure. All right, let me do a little test. A little bigger. Okay, charcoal pencil, sure. All right, and I'm going to keep this black lines for now because I can always go ahead and change this stuff later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my brackets on my keyboard to make my brush a little bit smaller. Okay, and then I can come on over here and I can start tracing. Oh, I made my brush too small. Okay, so I can start tracing. Okay, there I am. Decide what areas I want to put detail. Maybe I want these to be a little bit thinner. Okay, and I'm just using this as a reference. Okay, I'm just using this image as a reference. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'll make my brush a little bit bigger. So on and so forth. Okay. And I'm not spending a lot of time, right? Each frame is not going to be up very long, okay? So don't spend too much time. If you want, by the way, to knock up your smoothing, okay, that makes it a little bit easier if you don't have a very steady hand. You can knock up your smoothing. There's some different things, oops, you can do on your tablet as well. Okay, and then I just want to get my little fisheye here. Okay, and once in a while as you're working, turn your layer off and on so you can see kind of what you have. Okay, do I like that? Do I not? I think I like that. Maybe I'll just add some of these little oopsies. I'm drawing on the wrong layer, so it's okay. I'm gonna hit undo, undo, undo. Make sure I'm on this layer. All right. And again, maybe I'll just add just a few of these scale details here. I might want to make myself a custom brush so this doesn't take so long. Later I can maybe, if there's an element that I keep using, I might want to make myself a custom brush. Okay, and then I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to move to the next one. Okay, so I'm going to turn off this. I'm going to turn off this, just see what I have. I like that, great. I'm going to turn this layer on. You know what I'm going to do actually? I might go ahead and just group these layers actually. I'm going to group all these source layers so I can just turn them down to the same opacity at once because I don't want to have to keep turning it down as I'm working. So this is going to be my source file. I'm going to stick this one in this group. All right, let's see. What did I do for that one? I did it on, what was the opacity? Let's see here. Oh, I have a lot of layers. Okay, so let me see what I did. I think on this layer I did it, I thought I turned the opacity down. Maybe I just turned it back up. That's okay. All right, let me add this one to that group. All right, and then I can just go ahead. I'll turn on layer 3 now. And then this whole group, I'm going to make this. There we go. That's good. Then I can see what I'm drawing, but I still have enough that I can trace. All right. And now I can go ahead and make my second frame. So I'm going to go, I will make another layer here. Now, if you want, you can also duplicate your layer. So there's two things I could do. I could either, start from scratch, right? And make a whole new blank layer. Okay, that I'm drawing right here. So I could do that. Could do this. I could also, you get the idea. Okay, so on and so forth. Or another option is I could take this layer that I've already made and I could duplicate it to kind of speed things up and then check if on this next frame, maybe I will just modify some of these. So I'm going to take my eraser. Oh, I have some weird eraser on right now. And maybe I'll move some of these around and I'll move some of these lines so that way I get some movement, but I'm not like redoing everything, right? Maybe I'll redraw that line and I'll redraw maybe the eye again, but I'll keep some of these lines. So that way I'm not redrawing every single thing that's in here. Okay, so that's a little time saver that you can do if you want. I'll go back to my brush. Okay, so this way I'll still get some movement and things don't look exactly the same, but I'm also not spending forever drawing each of these frames. Okay, so there's like a little time saver for you. Do this line. I need to do my eye on this one. Okay, and then I think I was gonna do some of these scales and then some more of these thin lines here. Okay, so on and so forth. So guys, as you can see, it is a bit of a tedious task. So you do want to commit to some footage that you like, okay? Do something that is going to be interesting to you. All right, and you can see here, I have this and then I have this layer. Okay, so I'm going to get like a little bit of movement. And again, you can duplicate things if you want, or you can just start drawing from scratch each time. Okay, and you know what? These layers here, I'm going to go ahead and put this in its own layer, and I'm going to write rotoscope. So this is my rotoscope footage, rotoscope drawings. Okay, and then I'm just going to go up in the stack. Now I'm going back to layer 4. I'm going to run up here. I'm going to collapse this down, and this is my source film. Okay, and I'm going to actually just rearrange this on top. There we go. Okay, so these are my new frames. Okay, and then later I will animate the ones that are just here in the rotoscope drawing. Okay, so if you keep those in 2 separate things, I think that'll just make it a little bit easier for organization. Or, you know, you're welcome to just also keep them just all in order, like one on top, however you want to do it organizationally. Okay, I just was being lazy and I didn't want to have to keep turning down the opacity every time, so I put them in a group so I could just turn the entire thing down at once. Okay, so that's how to get started for this rotoscope.